As we grow older, relationships can often become more complex. Life experiences, personal growth, and deeply ingrained habits shape how we approach connections. From what I've seen across forums, many older adults feel conflicted about why they might struggle to maintain romantic relationships. While each person's story is unique, there are recurring themes that highlight the challenges some face in keeping relationships alive later in life. Let's dive into some of the signs that may indicate why you're finding it difficult to hold on to a relationship as you age, based on what many others have shared in these online spaces. Number 1. Emotional baggage is holding you back. As we go through life, we inevitably collect emotional scars. Whether it's from past relationships, career challenges, or family dynamics, we can unknowingly carry unresolved issues into new relationships. For example, I remember reading a comment from someone who shared that after her divorce, she constantly compared every new partner to her ex-husband. She found herself anticipating the same problems, even when they weren't there. If you're always expecting disappointment, it's hard to fully commit to someone new. A part of you is bracing for impact rather than embracing the present. You may find yourself bringing up old arguments or harboring fears of being hurt again. If you're always waiting for history to repeat itself, it could be emotional baggage weighing you down. The first step is acknowledging the weight you're carrying. Therapy or even just deep reflection can help you process these lingering emotions. When you let go of the past, you're more open to forming healthier, more balanced relationships. 2. You've grown too comfortable being alone. For many older adults, especially those who have lived alone for a while, personal independence becomes a double-edged sword. For instance, one man in his late 50s shared how after living solo for 10 years, he had become so comfortable with his routines that the thought of adjusting for another person felt overwhelming. You see, the more you become set in your ways, the harder it can be to make space for someone else in your life. This isn't necessarily about not wanting companionship, but the habits we form in solitude can make compromising feel like an intrusion rather than a natural part of sharing life. If you find yourself feeling frustrated by minor disruptions to your routine or unwilling to share your space or time, it may be a sign that you're too used to being on your own. But you can start with small changes. Invite companionship into your life gradually, whether it's through friends or new hobbies, without feeling like you're sacrificing your independence. Over time, you'll rediscover the balance between solitude and shared life. 3. Fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability is scary at any age, but for older adults, it can feel especially daunting. Some people I've seen in forums talk about how after being hurt in previous relationships, they've built up walls they don't even realize are there. One woman mentioned that after her husband of 25 years passed away, she felt emotionally numb and avoided dating because opening up to someone new seemed terrifying. I realize that as we age, the idea of letting someone see the full spectrum of our emotions, especially after facing significant loss or hardship, can feel too risky. We tend to protect ourselves from potential pain, but in doing so, we might also shut out potential love. If you tend to keep conversations surface level or shy away from deep emotional connections, this could be a sign that fear of vulnerability is holding you back. However, vulnerability doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can start by being open in small ways, sharing a personal story or being honest about your feelings with a close friend. The more you practice, the easier it will be to let others in. 4. Difficulty trusting others. Trust can be fragile, and after a lifetime of experiences, some people find it hard to believe in others again. Whether it's betrayal in past relationships or just witnessing dishonesty in the world, many older adults struggle to let down their guard. One man on a forum talked about how after his wife cheated on him, couldn't bring himself to trust anyone else. No matter how much time passed, he always suspected the worst. This lack of trust can sabotage even the best relationships, as doubts and insecurities erode the foundation of connection. Trust issues often manifest as jealousy, constant suspicion, or needing excessive reassurance from your partner. If you frequently second-guess your partner's actions or intentions, or you find it hard to take people at their word, trust might be the issue. Trust takes time to rebuild. You can start with yourself. Focus on what makes you feel secure, and reflect on whether your fears are based on your current partner's actions or past experiences. Open communication is key, and building trust with small, consistent steps can go a long way. 5. Struggling with adaptability. As we age, we often become set in our ways. Change can be difficult, and the thought of adjusting your life for another person might feel exhausting. One man shared how, after retiring, he didn't want to compromise his newfound freedom. The idea of coordinating travel plans, meal times, or even TV schedules with another person felt like too much effort. If you're unwilling to adapt, relationships become stagnant. Growth happens when both people are willing to meet each other halfway and evolve together. Being rigid or inflexible in how you live your life can make it difficult to find common ground with a partner. If you're frequently resistant to suggestions or unwilling to try new things in a relationship, this could be a sign that you're struggling with adaptability. However, you can start by being more open to small changes. View adaptability as an opportunity for personal growth. If you can see compromise as a way to enhance your life rather than limit it, you may find that relationships bring new excitement and fulfillment. 6. Fear of losing your identity. Many older adults have spent decades establishing their careers, raising families, or cultivating hobbies. As such, it's common to fear that entering a new relationship could somehow dilute or change who they are. On one forum, a woman in her 60s expressed how she avoided dating because she didn't want to lose herself after so many years of living life on her own terms. The fear of being consumed by another person's life or demands can be paralyzing. You may worry that entering a relationship will require you to give up your hobbies, social circles, or personal time. While it's natural to want to protect your individuality, this fear can prevent you from fully engaging with a partner. If you often feel defensive about your personal time or hobbies, or you're unwilling to share parts of your life with a partner, this may be a sign that fear of losing your identity is holding you back. A healthy relationship should complement, not overshadow, your individuality. Be upfront about your need for personal space and time. When you feel secure in your sense of self, relationships will enhance rather than diminish your life. 7. Unresolved grief. Loss is an inevitable part of life, especially as we age. Whether it's the passing of a spouse, a long-term partner, or even close friends, grief can shape the way we view relationships. I've read stories on forums where older adults talk about how they never quite recovered from the loss of a loved one. One woman, for instance, shared that after her husband passed away, she felt guilty even thinking about dating again, as if moving on would dishonor his memory. Grief doesn't just come from death. It can also arise from significant life changes, like losing a job or entering retirement. When grief remains unresolved, it can cast a shadow over new relationships, preventing you from fully engaging with someone new. If you find yourself constantly comparing a new partner to someone you've lost, or feelings of guilt arise when considering a new relationship, unresolved grief may be at play. Give yourself permission to feel your grief without judgment. talking to a counselor, or joining a support group can help you work through these emotions. Remember, moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring your past while opening yourself up to new possibilities. 8. Difficulty in setting boundaries. As we get older, we sometimes assume that we've learned all there is to know about relationships, but boundary setting remains one of the most challenging skills to master. Some people I've seen on forums talk about how, in their later years, find themselves either giving too much or becoming too rigid. One man said that he allowed his new partner to take over too much of his life because he didn't want to rock the boat, while another shared how she pushed people away when they got too close. Healthy boundaries are essential for any relationship to thrive. Without them, you either risk losing yourself by overgiving or pushing others away by guarding your personal space too fiercely. If you frequently feel resentment toward your partner for invading your space, or conversely, feel burnt out from constantly giving without receiving, boundary issues may be affecting your relationships. Take stock of what you truly need in a relationship and communicate those needs openly. Practice saying no when necessary and yes when it feels right. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about creating a safe space where both you and your partner can grow together. 9. Unrealistic expectations. Many older adults come into new relationships with clear ideas of what they want, which can be both a blessing and a curse. I've seen posts on forums where people express frustration over their partners not living up to their expectations, whether it's regarding personality, lifestyle, or even physical appearance. A woman in her 60s said she kept breaking things off with potential partners because they didn't meet the same standards she had in her 20s. Sometimes we create an idealized version of what love or a partner should look like, and anything that falls short feels like a deal breaker. While standards are important, unrealistic expectations can prevent you from appreciating the person in front of you. If you find yourself nitpicking or ending relationships over minor flaws, or you constantly compare your partner to an ideal, it might be a sign that your expectations are too rigid. Reflect on what truly matters to you in a relationship. Are the qualities you're fixated on deal breakers, or can you learn to accept imperfection in favor of deeper compatibility? Let go of the need for perfection and allow yourself to see the beauty in someone's quirks and flaws. 10. Lack of self-reflection. One of the most common struggles shared online by older adults is the lack of self-awareness. Many people tend to focus on what their partner is doing wrong without taking time to reflect on their own behaviors. A man in his 50s mentioned how he constantly blamed his ex-wife for their failed marriage, only to realize later that his own stubbornness and refusal to compromise had been a major contributing factor. You see, self-reflection is key to personal growth and maintaining healthy relationships. Without it, we risk repeating the same mistakes, regardless of who we're with. If you often feel like the victim in every relationship, or find yourself saying, "It's always the other person's fault," it might be time for some self-reflection. Take time to assess your past relationships. Be honest with yourself about the role you played in their successes and failures. What patterns do you notice? How can you change or grow? By understanding your own actions and motivations, you'll be better equipped to form lasting, meaningful connections in the future. If you've recognized any of these signs in yourself, know that you're not alone. Many older adults face similar struggles, and the key is understanding that it's never too late to grow and evolve. Relationships in later life can be just as fulfilling, if not more so, than those from earlier years. By addressing the barriers that hold you back, you open yourself up to deeper, more meaningful connections. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Every step you take toward healing, openness, and adaptability brings you closer to the kind of relationship that's built to last. So give yourself grace, embrace the journey, and trust that love is always possible at any age. Feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe if you found the video helpful. Thank you for watching.